Manny Pacquiao returned last month against Brandon Rios, scored a victory. What are your thoughts on his performance?
Well, first of all, it was tremendous matchmaking. Brandon Rios is a very, very high-level fighter, but I think Top Rank and Arum understood that if Manny is still Manny, he's going to look really good against Brandon Rios, and he looked really good against Brandon Rios. I guess what the fight told us is that a one-punch knockout, when you're winning the fight, the way Manny suffered against Marquez, is less damaging, potentially, than getting beat up for 12 rounds. That could be much worse for a fighter. So Manny looked good. Maybe he wasn't as explosive as he's been in the past, but his movement was beautiful, his timing was great, and he fought the perfect fight. So he couldn't have done more for himself to show people, hey, I'm still Manny Pacquiao.
Before the fight, what questions did you have about Pacquiao, and with his performance, did he answer them?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question because most people were looking at Manny and saying, would the Marquez knockout to have a long-term effect on him? That wasn't what I was concerned with. What I was concerned with Manny is, does he still want to fight? Is the hunger still there? The way he trained for the fight, maybe part of it was being motivated because it was in Macau. For whatever reason, he clearly looked like he wanted to be there. He trained like he wanted to be there. He's still hungry. And a fighter who's a high-energy fighter like Manny Pacquiao, if he's not really hungry, he's not going to be real effective. He showed he's still hungry.
What is about his options moving forward? What would you like to see from him in the future?
Well, I don't think I'd like to see another fight with Marquez, only because we've done enough of it. It's enough already. Tim Bradley, in a sense, that would be satisfying. I'm a believer that Tim Bradley did not beat Manny. Most people feel the same way. But is erasing that quote-unquote loss enough to motivate? Hey, the fight for Manny is Floyd. The fight for Floyd is Manny in terms of what the public would want to see. Can it be made? I don't know. But that's the fight I want to see, and that's the fight most people want to see.
And that's why I was going to ask, the whole top-ranked Golden Boy, that they don't work together. Just what are your thoughts on how that affects not only Pacquiao's options but other fighters, and how does that affect the sport?
Well, it affects the sport in essence. Now we have two leagues. We have the top-ranked HBO League and the Golden Boy Showtime League. There are going to be instances where they both have fighters who will not benefit from this, meaning Peter Quillen, for instance. HBO has most of the top middleweights. Showtime doesn't. It's not a division Showtime has been that involved in. That's a potential problem for the fans. That's very frustrating. We'd like to see Santa Cruz fight Brigandao. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But there are going to be matchups that aren't going to happen, and we just have to accept that because that's politics. What generally happens in boxing is money talks, and if money can affect fights being made, usually if you pay enough, it'll happen. I don't anticipate that this Cold War will go on forever. What it's going to take to break the Cold War, I don't know.